South Korea's stock market saw a dramatic turnaround this year. After falling about 10% last year, the latest report shows the KOSPI has recorded the world's highest gains this year. With the once seemingly far-fetched milestone of 4,000 points now firmly within reach, analysts say the benchmark index could climb as high as 5,500 points in 2026. For more on this, we're joined today by Kim Minkyun, professor at Sogang Business School. Professor Kim, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So shares of South Korea's two largest companies by market cap, Samsung Electronics and SK hynix, they hit new record highs this year. What's driving the current semiconductor boom cycle, and how would you assess the overall performance of the Korean stock market this year?
Well, Korean stock market, of course, we're starting with the political risk. As you know, the political risk for the Korean government was gone. And after President Lee Jae-myung government is step up, well, he trying to boost the stock market by establishing investors-friendly policies. And then, of course, they call the AI bubble, but there are many needs for the HBM and the semiconductor chips. So our two main companies like Samsung Electronics and SK hynix, well, the needs for the basically the demand for the semiconductor chips is sky high rocketing. So basically, well, it's gonna be reflected in our stock market. So that's why they are driving the force for the boosting of our KOSPI.
I see. And the government is now urging Korean investors who have been investing in U.S. markets to shift their focus back to domestic stocks by rolling out measures like tax incentives. What's your take on this? And are we seeing signs of investors returning to the KOSPI?
I think it's kind of partially effective since we have the tax benefits for returning to the Korean market. But I think we're going to have focus on the fundamentals of the KOSPI market and, of course, the Korean economic situation. Well, of course, the two main players like Samsung and SK hynix, well, they are driving the KOSPI market. And, of course, well, the rising up of those KOSPI market index, of course, that they're trying to attract more investors, especially from the Korean investors from the who invest the money to the U.S. market. I think it's kind of policy is working too. Tax benefits, of course, we're trying to set up more policies for friendly investors. Policies, of course. So I think, well, even though it's still working, but I think it's depending on the fundamentals of the Korean economic growth to attract more Korean investors, of course.
I see. And what the Korean government has also been working on is attracting more foreign investors to the Korean stock market. How effective has these efforts been so far?
Well, I think it's kind of a lot of factors that can attract more foreign investors, especially for the exchange rate and our Korean fundamentals for the economic situation, and of course that the HBM semiconductor companies, of course, there are needs for next years. But the problem is that, well, if you look at the projections for the Korea's economy, as well as including the semiconductor industry and as well as automobiles and other batteries or other chemicals and the steels and all the main industry that trying to boost up our Korean economy is not doing very well. So what we're trying to do, of course, we're trying to focusing on the growth of the economy as well as including semiconductors and steels and any other industry that can, depending on the growth of the Korean economy.
Right. And Professor Kim, before I let you go, what's your outlook for the Korean stock market next year? You know, some analysts say the KOSPI could climb above 5,500 points. How realistic do you think that is?
Well, I think it's kind of feasible numbers that we're trying to reach, but I think it's kind of be too optimistic for 5,500 KOSPI points. But well, I think it's possible since we trying to stimulate the market and we're gonna focus on all the policies for trying to boost the economy, and we're trying to working on the fundamentals like employment rate and other exports and import, of course. And we also looking at the exchange rate, of course, between our won and dollar values, of course, and the government is trying to set up those kind of all the policies. And of course, our semiconductor two companies are doing very well. I think it's kind of a projection that they are doing very well in next year too, in 2026. So I think it's kind of possible, but trying to look for those kind of fundamentals and look for those kind of growth. And we're also going to look for those kind of other industry, like especially for we talk about the K-pop cultures and those kind of service industry and the main the steels and of course the automobile industry. Well, we also going to look at those kind of industry that can generate so kind of economic growth for the next year, so that we can have some good vision for the Korean stock market in 2026.
Right, a lot to look forward to. We'll have to see how that goes. All right, Professor Kim, thank you so much for your insight today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.